I can hear you perfectly.
And I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me?
perfectly. But
Can you
when you
still hear
switch
me?
to this layout, can you
Can,
say something, Andre?
saying something now.
Saying something now. I can hear you now.
Yay!
Awesome. A round of applause,
Amazing.
everybody. Reminds me of my kindergarten days. A round of
Yeah,
applause.
yeah, definitely.
All right, we're here. We're
We're
doing
here. We're
this.
here. We're doing it. Amazing.
I'm so
Burns,
excited.
thank you for joining us, first and foremost. And I think most of the people in here already know you because they're connected to you in some way, looking at the people who've joined so far. So I think very little introduction is needed. Maybe one or two might not be familiar with Burns. So, Burns, if you would like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit of your story, and we can go from there.
I would love to. And just to start off, I'm Berns. A lot of you who are here so far may already be friends of mine or family or students from Facebook, but I'm Berns. I have been on a 12-year journey with cancer, which has, for the most part, been relatively pain-free. But this past, for the last year, actually, the pain has been increasing. And I've had a few other concerns about where my health is concerned. So I went in, I got another CT scan, and it confirmed, yes, indeed, I have stage 4 terminal cancer, and it has enabled me to have a completely new approach to why this has happened, what healing actually is, as well as how to prepare myself and my family for what is to come. And I think the best way that we can all help each other, because we know we are never alone in any of this, is for you guys to tap that screen, like Andre was saying. It's a kind of different vibe than in Facebook, but tapping the screen, like you can listen to me and you can be tapping away on your screen. Every tap counts. So that is something that could be really helpful for us so that we can get this word and this beautiful message out to more people. Also, if you save it, oh, you can't save, can you save on TikTok Live? I can't remember.
I think it saves at the end
Oh, okay.
somehow.
And I think only
Yeah.
you can see the saved, but just
But
really
yeah,
quickly, if you share this out, just copy the link, even if you don't actually send it out, as long as you've copied it, the algorithm says that this is something that is shareable, and that will help get more views. So that is really why we're doing this, to open up and understand death, the process of it, no matter what, even if you haven't yourself lost anyone close to you, at some point we will. Everybody has had grief to deal with. I hadn't seen Andre. I started following Andre about a year ago, or in December. It was for a while, and I used to watch you a lot, and then started not seeing as much of Andre. I think I was also just looking at and commenting on other new stuff. But when I saw him last night and I went, "Yo, Andre," he was like, "You gave me the biggest burns. Oh my God, it's so good to see you." And we started talking. I told him very briefly what was going on with me with this final chapter in my life. I know it's hard for people to believe because they see a otherwise relatively healthy person in front of them, which is itself a dichotomy in and of itself. So I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here in this present moment with you, Andre, and with anybody who's interested in this topic. And I've written down some notes just in case, because my memory slides a little bit. One of the aspects of end stage terminal cancer.
yeah.
I thought I also had a pen. Oh, here we go. My pen.
There we go. Beautiful pen. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, Burns. It really is, and what Burns is going through. Knowing, I mean, we all know at some point, the end of our life is going to come, but we never imagine that day actually happening until you get told, "Hey, look, you've got a certain amount of time." So it really puts things into perspective, And, I was dumbfounded when Berns told me the news. I could not believe it. I was like, right, we've got to, we need to speak. We had a private video call together and we spoke at length and, shared our ideas and thoughts on death and everything that she's been going through. So I said, look, we've got to do a live on this and we've got to get your message out and we've got to just spread awareness, because I think people, you take life for granted until it's taken away, or until a loved one next to you is taken away. Me personally, my mum is one of 11 and today there's 4 of them left. So I've grown up seeing a lot of her sisters and brothers being taken away over the years and seeing the impact that has had, which is what's given me such a love for life. But anyway, Berns, take it away, my dear.
All right. Well, we were actually supposed to have a call together beforehand, as Andre mentioned. So I thought what I would do, sharing this with Andre and with all of you at the outset so that you can understand where we're going with this. I wanted to just give a brief history of me, and I think I kind of did that. But I wanted to talk about how to prepare yourself for something, and going through something as natural and real as birth is, death is the same thing. It's as real. And I wanted to really prepare my family for what they were going to go through. So I've shared a lot of myself on Facebook and on YouTube as a detox specialist, and I've coached hundreds, if not thousands, of amazing people who wanted to try different alternatives to help them along the way of their healing journey. And one thing that I noticed over the years, because I was a student first and then a teacher and then more student and more teacher. It's been like that with a lot of my, within my community, within the healing arts community. But one thing that I've noticed is that there is very little spoken about how we go through the death and dying process. And a lot of times we are kind of encompassed by all kinds of taboos about it. Death does not have to be morbid. Death does not have to be scary. Death does not have to be fear-filled. And I totally understand, I totally get it, that those emotions are real, because we are living in a human physique that I think a lot of us have forgotten is just one very small aspect of who we truly are. The larger part of who we truly are is this glorious inner being, I sometimes call her. I sometimes call her the universe. I sometimes say God, whatever you want to call it. So anyhow, I wanted to make the transitioning process as easy for Kaya and Dali, first and foremost, because they are the ones that live with me the most. Of course, my daughter, Danica, I didn't want to just leave her high and dry without any way of healing through any of this, because it is now, for me, a reality that this could happen at any point. The cancer is very, very aggressive, and it is very large, and it is part of my disease, which has metastasized to the top of my abdomen, actually. So the other thing I wanted to mention, before anybody jumps in with a lot of advice on, you should try this, and what about that? And have you tried this? And this really worked for me, and that really worked for my friend. I love you guys so much, and I realize that it is so hard to not do that, because you love me, because I'm the Berns, and we're all part of this walk that we take together, either side by side of somebody else, or maybe somebody's path is going a completely different way. But at the end of the day, we're all walking each other home through this process of learning about grief and dying. And, this experience has brought me so much clearer recognition of why I did not, air quotes, heal my cancer. Because I think that's another reason. By the way, I'm sorry, but sometimes I stutter and repeat words. It's just a neurological thing because of a combination of the medication that I'm on and the progression of this disease. So I try to not pay attention to it, but I am a little self-conscious about that. So it's very little talked about in the healing community, but I think it's really important to remember that we didn't just come here to live a life that's pain-free and trauma-free and health concerns-free. We came here to live a fullness, an abundance of fullness. Well, it's kind of a same thing, right? We came here to live an abundant life, which also means that sometimes we also have a lot of things that we came to heal through me having a diagnosis of cancer 2 weeks after I was first diagnosed in 2011. As an example, I sat on my bed and I just thought, why is this happening to me? Like, why? What is going on? And I heard a voice that sounded exactly like my voice, but I actually heard it as an audible version of my own voice in my head on the left side. And the voice said, this will help you define your purpose. And I just I just repeated that in my head a couple of times. And then I said, okay, let's go. Let's go, you guys, let's go. And it since then has guided me down the path of least resistance to find different solutions at different times. I've done everything from meditation focus for many years. I was on Dr. Joe Dispenza's stage giving a testimonial of where I was at that point in time. If you search Berns and Dr. Joe Dispenza, you'll find it. I've done a lot of work in law of attraction and on how to change our mindset and how easy it is to get stuck in the old way of being and not to really know how to focus on the new version of yourself. So that has definitely been a big thing for me. It's also brought me a lot of closeness to my family. Like, we have had the most tender, most loving time through this process. I hope I get at least a few months. I really do, because I want to enjoy them more, you know? I think sometimes we get so busy with our normal lives that we can forget what is really important. And now I have an opportunity to spend the most uninterrupted, really deep, soulful time with my partners. And that is also actually one reason why we did set up a GoFundMe account for Dali to be able to stay here with me instead of being off in Canada working. And I think Andre, I don't think I saw it. You have a link. It's on his link tree that you guys can check that out. But the reason that we wanted to do that was because, you know, going through something like this can really be extremely emotional. There's a lot to unpack. And I'd want to do that unpacking with Dali here and help him through it as well. And I have a few different things that I would love to share with you guys. If anybody has any questions, though, after we do those questions, I want to just give you a personal look at what my preparation for the death process is and has been, and how incredible this is all unfolded. So I don't know, this writing on this app is very tiny.
Yes, it is. Now you see what I used to deal with.
I know, it's
I
like,
used to
what
be
is there a way to
squinting and
bump up?
scrolling and trying to kind of read what everyone has written. It can really
Yeah,
play with your eyes, actually.
it's crazy,
Um,
right?
it
So if
really
you guys
is.
have any questions up until this point, feel free to put them in. And Andre, if you can make a note of what those questions are and the person's name, then
Yeah,
we
sure.
can go back and address it. But I found before I told Dali about a month ago that I think I'm dying. And he was like, no, 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 you can't give up. You can't give up. I said, I know, it's so hard, but this is also undeniable what I'm experiencing in my body. So the first and foremost anxiety or fear or worry that I had after just mentioning it to Dali was, number one, is this real? Because a lot of times I was dismissing it as, this can't be real. This can't be happening to me. Like, look at me, I look fine. There are issues, though, that are hidden easily in clothing. There are ways that you can really show how much weight you've lost, or how much 7-inch by 3.5-inch tumor might look and grow in your abdomen. By the way, if you're not from Facebook, you guys can head over to my Facebook to check it out. I've been sharing a lot of this. So I wanted a plan that would be easy to follow for Kaya and Dali, because they will be the ones here with me when it does happen. Excuse me. And I found that it's so amazing. Let me take a breath and just give glory to God and the universe, my inner being. But this has led me down to around the corner from me. I live in Mexico. Around the corner from me, I remembered that the yoga instructor and owner of our yoga center here is also a death and grievance counselor and a end-of-life doula as well. Her name is Molly, and she has been an amazing support. And Molly has really helped me and Dali and all of us go through some really beautiful experiences to work through all of the intense emotions that one would expect to be going through when you have end-stage cancer. So we partook in a death ritual ceremony. And when I first saw that posted, I know Molly's going to watch this. I'm just going to say, I was like, a death ritual? Oh, what's that about? That sounds a little funky, because ritual, we ascribe to not just positive things, but also not so positive things. So I was a little skeptical at first, but I said, you know what, Kaya and Dali, let's go to this ceremony and see what it's all about. And it was absolutely the most incredible thing. It was us and 17 or 18 other people in the circle. And after that ceremony, I wanted to invite Molly to do the same thing when my sisters and daughter had come down the following week. And we did that together. And again, it was so powerful. I think for me, the most important thing to do is to give options to our students, give options to anybody that's watching for other ways to process the death and dying experience. A lot of people don't process it at all. We push it down with food, with alcohol, with all kinds of drugs and all kinds of behaviors and actions that we do in order to not feel the pain that we are feeling. Because this is a beautiful experience, but is really one that's potentially filled with all kinds of negative experience and feelings about what we're going through. And that might come out in ways that are not even close to, that don't seem related to the grief. You might find yourself being more nitpicky about things. You might find yourself being angry. A minute ago, I was angry at my phone, like really angry at my phone because I couldn't find the proper attachment to plug in for my mic. It comes out in all different kinds of ways. So we are learning what grieving while the other person is still alive, or while I am still alive, my own personal outlook on grief and how to handle grieving has definitely changed significantly because we're going through this. But it can be a really taboo subject, but it doesn't have to be a taboo subject. It really doesn't. So I hope to, I'm wanting to write a book. Please give me 3 more months, please. I'm hoping to write a book on not a DIY on how to heal your body from cancer. I used to think that was the mission, but I want to write a book about the personal side of living with cancer gracefully and living with grief gracefully. The two are definitely interconnected. You can't go through your life on an spiritually aware foundation and then just allow grief to take over, right? Like it's a beautiful way to integrate and practice everything that we've been working on as spiritual beings. And I would say all of my followers over on the other apps are of that like mind. right? We want to do things holistically and naturally. And there's not really a lot out there about how to die and how to survive with the thing that may be the way that you die. So that was really important for me. And I found that because we had these things in place, because I went to the palliative care doctor for a prescription for pain medications, which I was very much against. I'm like, I can do this. I am the Berns. I can do this with my cannabis medicine and my cannabis medicine alone. Well, not really, Berns. You can't, because cancer pain really sucks really badly if you're not properly medicated and keeping on top of that medication. So it's a balancing act. Do you have any questions for me, Andre?
Yeah, I mean, whoops, nearly kicked over the camera. Got to keep
No.
it close. I mean, I think it's just a lot to take. It's so much to take, and there's so much to say and to speak about. I mean, we can speak about the kind of material side of things, of what that means of actually physically dying, but also the spiritual aspects of what to expect, what will you go through, what will happen. And I think where a lot of people's fear comes from is the not knowing, not having that definitive answer of, hey, like, does life go on, or is it just nothingness? But I guess my first question for you, Berns, and I'm sure this will be on a lot of people's minds, is like, when you got told, obviously you got told 12 years ago and you spoke about that, but when you went and had those scans, obviously you had the intuition that you were starting to transition, that you were, your body was preparing you. How did that feel, just being told, look, you've got this tumor, you are terminal now? And how did you deal with those feelings? Because I can only imagine that a lot of big feelings
Right.
would have come up.
I was able to hold it together for most of that appointment. And for some of that appointment, I sobbed. I always have a sweat rag hanging around here because at any point in time, I can start crying. And it's totally okay to do that.
That's right. I mean, just while you look for that, let me just say, people, in the kind of environment I grew up in, it was never okay to cry. It was never okay to show these kind of emotions. And I've got 4 kids, and what I teach my children is it's okay to feel how you feel. If you feel angry, that's okay. It's not, we shouldn't be suppressing these feelings, and suppressing negative feelings causes them to build up in the body, and which
Right.
will eventually lead to some kind of ailment in 10 years or 20 years, or maybe never. It all depends on what your journey looks like.
Right.
So yeah, sorry, Berns.
No,
Go
that
for it.
was great. I thank you so much for stepping in there. This is a partnership that we have going on. I'm just here with everybody, including you. Um, Dawn, why you gotta go make me cry again, man?
Oh, bless you, Berns. Well, sending you a virtual hug.
Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get it together.
That's okay.
These
You take
waves
the
come
time.
and go, and sometimes it's fine, and at other times you really do need to feel it.
You need to, of course. I think feeling our emotions is what helps us process them, and it takes us deeper into ourselves. Whether those emotions are good or bad, they have to be felt, because that's the only way to get them out and express them.
100%, and that is something that's something else that's interesting, because in the space and time between hearing the news and then posting about it for the last couple of weeks, every time I talk about it, I can maintain composure, if you will. And not only maintain composure, like, a lot of the sadness is gone. When I start opening up and crying is because, how do you turn these comments off? I cannot see them.
There might be a
But
way
when
to.
I see my beloved friends, oh my God, expressing their love, that just gets me because I love them all so much. And to be able to go to the end of your life in this format, this flesh suit format, to get to the end of this flesh suit life, I forgot what I was going to say. Don't you just love this? It's not about, I don't know what I was going to say. It might come up later, though.
If you swipe your screen from
Yeah.
the left edge to the right, it should show the comments in large. I just figured that out now.
Ooh, left to right?
Yeah, from the
Oh,
left
let's try
edge
it. No,
over
that
to the
didn't.
right.
It's
Hopefully
okay.
that should show the
I'm trying
comments.
not to see their comments because
Okay.
they just get my heart. They just get
Oh,
my
bless you,
heart.
darling.
I can't take it.
But
Humor is a very big thing, by the way. But that exact appointment, to get back to that, because I have a little bit more composure now.
yeah,
Thank
sure.
you for your patience.
For those who have joined, I see when our numbers have gone up. For those who have joined, we have the lovely Berns here. She is stage 4 terminal. She's been given 3 months to live, and she is just an awesome person, a wonderful teacher. She's been teaching powerfully on transitioning over to the other side, and everything she's going through is for all of us, really, because she's someone who can reach out to the world and connect the dots. And we need more people like this who can teach us, guide us, and lead us the way to live a better life. Okay. And I had
To live
asked
a better life
Berns,
and have a better death process
this is
than most of us will,
exactly. And
right?
yeah, and the question I'd asked Berns is she's been dealing with cancer for the last 12 years and recently found out that she's terminal. And the question I'd asked her, for those who missed, is how did she feel in that moment, knowing she'd been going through this journey for such a long time? I mean, I don't know anyone who has gone through it as long as you have and is still here to talk about it. She's been going through it for such a long time. How did she feel knowing, like, being told, hey, look, this is where it is, and this is how long you've got, and how was she able to deal with that and process that and still be here today? I mean, look at her. She's stunning. She is smiling. She's full of life. You would never even know. You would never know. She's full of life.
This is true. By the way, for those of you who are questioning that, because that was one of the main things I questioned early on. I'll get back to the how did I handle that moment, but I just want to say, when I go live and when I teach or when I'm coaching with someone one-on-one, sorry, that's obviously on hold right now. But whenever I am just even having a conversation with my husband or with my daughter, I can get into a state of flow and kind of step out of the egoic version of Berns and be pure energy and be able to flow that divine stream of information. That is how I am able to, usually at this point in the day, I would be up in bed sleeping, full on, dead to the world sleep. But I know that when I call on the divine to step in so that whatever I say might be just exactly the thing that you needed to hear, that's because it's not Berns. I'm just a vehicle for this information to be brought to you. I just want to point that out. And I have a feeling you do the same, Andre, because I see you on here a lot of nights when it's 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. We have different time zones, but that's how I'm able to catch you live. But how did it feel in the moment? I went into that appointment expecting the worst. I went into that appointment knowing that she was going to tell me I have a very little amount of time because I had a divine audio message about a month before that said you have X amount of, she actually told me I have 6 months to live. But my actual dream that I had that said I have 4 months, that's all it said, you've got 4 months, was about a month and a half ago now. So I knew going in, I know my body incredibly well. I know when my body needs what it needs. I'm very in tune with my body. And because of the decline that I was on, the significant drop in weight, the significant abdominal distension. It's not just bloating, it's not air, it's not water, it's not ascites. According to the scan, it is the tumor enlarging and continuing to enlarge over time. But I went into that appointment knowing that it was going to be a good time for her, the oncologist, to confirm for me what I already knew. So I went in knowing the information. Dali was away in Canada working, so he was there on his phone on a live. So he was in Canada, we're in Mexico, and he came on that call. So we did a video call with Dali, with Dawn, which is why, Dawn, don't do it, Dawn. I'm telling you, don't make me cry again by how much you love me. It was Phyllis and Dawn, who are both on the call here today. And my daughter, my 21-year-old daughter, Kaya. And I was able to keep my composure until I asked her, how much time do I have? And she said 6 months, and I just started to weep. I'm like, I know it's actually shorter than that, because that was 6 months if I take their imatinib, their drug, which I took for a few years at the beginning of this journey, and it totally destroyed my body. And I was like, I want to go out looking good. I don't want to go out looking like I've been eaten out from the inside. That is not my vibe. I'm not about that. So it was a mixture of sobbing. It was a mixture of sadness. It was a mixture of, this is really fucking real. This is really going down. It was a combination of all of those things, but there was also very much a sense of, I knew that. Now, what's next on the agenda? We got to get stuff done. I've got to, continue to make sure that my family has enough preparation from me as a spiritual teacher on how to reconnect with me when I transition. That was very, very important for me. And I've been graced with that ability. And when you see the comments on my Facebook page to all of my content, especially within the last 2 weeks, I mean, there's no denying. I got some good karma lined up. And even the tumor isn't bad karma. Had I not had this cancer diagnosis, I would not have had the spiritual awakening that it sparked. I would not be the same person that I am today. Absolutely not. I'm not saying I was an evil person at all by any means, but I was just going along my day, doing my thing, obviously helping a lot of people, because by this point I was a bikini designer, but I wasn't a coach, or I wasn't a mental health strategist, or, but even my bikini girls from 2009 are rocking the comments. So I know that I've completed my mission. When I heard that voice in my head that said, this will help you define your purpose, I knew then that everything would be okay. And here I am getting to have the most incredible end of life experience ever. Like the tender moments between my family and my closest friends is, man, I want you guys to understand that dying does not have to be sad. It does not have to be filled with sorrow. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Of course you're going to go through those moments. Like, why? You'd be like, who are you? Are you have a heart of stone not to be grief stricken? And at the same time, I want people to know different techniques that they can utilize so that they can always have this at least on the back burner, thinking about it. Because one day we all have to go. None of us are getting out of this alive.
This is it. Yeah, we're all in this together. And I think that, what was I going to say? I had something really good that I was going to say. And I can't remember now. Your memory loss is rubbing off on me, Berns. Yeah. No, I think that, like I said at the start of the live, a lot of people may not have been here. When someone that you have a connection with, a friendship with, a bond with, no matter how that is, and you know that they're starting, their life is now timed, limited, it really puts things into perspective. I was saying to my partner, Jess, I was saying, we spoke about, what's going on with Berns and her cancer. And, what little time she has left. And I said to her, look, this is a wake-up call for us. I mean, we do a lot, but no matter how much you do, there's always more you can do. And I said to her, we've got to start living our lives better. We've got to take advantage of the time, because every day you're given a certain amount of time in that day while you're awake to live your life, to do whatever you want to do. So you've got to be more conscious of that. And I think a lot of us aren't conscious. We feel like, we're going to live forever. We're going to be around forever. It never happened to us. That only happens in Africa, or that only happens in America, or that only happens.
That's going to happen when I'm 90.
Yeah, we don't think about it too much. And it's something that I think is worth thinking about. Years ago, when I left a job, I had been given a book, The Way of the Samurai, by my replacement, who I trained. So he bought me this book, The Way of the Samurai, and I read a little bit of it, not the whole thing, but the key thing that kept coming up that book is how a samurai must think about death every day. And by doing so, it gives the samurai a fearlessness in life. Of course, samurais are, essentially soldiers, which in my view isn't always a good thing, but it gives them a fearlessness to conduct their lives fully, without regret, without hesitation. Should I go to the gym? Next week, I can't be bothered. I'd rather just sit down and drink something and watch something. Should I go out with my friends this week? Everyone's out. I can't be bothered. And as I said, I'm from a very big family. I've got about 35 cousins, and a lot of them have been taken over the years. And just to kind of roll off a little bit, I remember my cousin Timothy, who passed many years ago now, in a car accident, and he was someone who lived his life bright. He never held back anything. He never held back his words, his actions, and people used to look at him and say, oh, this guy's full of it, but after he went, I was like, wow, like he actually lived a full life, even though he went, before age, I don't even think he was 30 at the time, but he lived a full life. And this is the point, and the example that I'm taking away from Berns is like, look, you've been given this ultimatum. And if you hadn't been given this ultimatum, you probably would be still in your usual pattern of whatever it is you normally do throughout the week, spending time doing teaching and doing other things. But now that you've been given this ultimatum, it's like, whoa, okay, now I'm on my mission. I know now I can't mess around. I can't waste any more time. I've got to get on it, And the funny thing is the day we are born, we're all given this ultimatum, but we don't realize it because we're only babies and we don't understand the world. So we're given a certain time at birth to say, okay, your time is going to come at this time, that time, whatever time it is, in whatever way it comes, right? So each day we're living out this life like, nothing really matters and we've got all the time in the world, which is a good thing in some respects. But at the same time, there we go, we might not, and we don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen anytime. Like in the case of my cousin, who, he went out and never came home, and it was unexpected, But I think in your case, Berns, it's much more of a wake-up call, because it's like you're told, okay, it's going to happen in the next however long. So I think it has much more impact than when it comes suddenly and it's unexpected. When it's expected, I think it affects us much more deeply. Your friends, your family, you, of course. That's my 2 cents.
I love that. The theme of letting stuff go that doesn't serve us really came through for me there with what you were saying. And it's true. I think a lot of us hold on to a lot of stuff, right? Physical stuff. By the way, the dying process has a remarkable way of reminding you that things are just getting cleared away that you no longer need. And that includes the body the vessel that we are carried around in every day, which is our physical body. Letting go of that That's really challenging, especially when you're aware that you're aware. To quote
Yeah.
Dr. Joe, be aware that you are aware. Like, I am so attunely aware that I am aware that, yeah, it's made, just let go of all the stuff that doesn't serve you. Like, why do we have to wait until somebody is dying? Not that I don't have an amazing life with my beautiful husband and my kids, but there's always rooms that can be improved, right? There's always a deeper level of connection that we can have. When we let all the stuff go, that doesn't serve us in whatever relationship. So yeah, I really like that. I think I hope. I mean, there are some books that I've read, like Dolores Cannon's Life Between Life Between. What is that? What is that? Dawn, type in the comments. What is that book? I forget. Love Between Death and Life. Life Between Death. Dawn will put it in the comments. And she talks about between life and death. Thank you so much, Dali. Between life and death. That has been a really powerful thing to listen to on audiobook or to watch. That has really, really helped a lot. What's the other one? I mean, I've known about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross for decades, back when I used to practice yoga pretty much on a 24/7 basis. I was a karma yoga student of somebody in Toronto, but yeah, you get prepared for stuff like this. And as long as you're open to learning it, because not a lot of people can do this the way I've done it, but that's just because nobody knew that this kind of thing was available to them to do. So hopefully, after I write my book, please give me a few more months, or 10 days. I can do it today, but I know the Lord doesn't want me to do it today. I've got a life like this. So I hope that helps. Being informed about the process, really, really powerful. Getting real with what your emotions are, really powerful. Holding space for your family and friends to come to terms with this before you pass away, right? A lot of the viewers that have popped in here have been my students on the Facebook side of things. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn on a more modern basis as well. Yeah.
By the way, if anyone who is in the live with us now would also like to kind of join in and chat with us, you don't have to have your video on. You can just speak on audio. You can have your camera off. And has any questions for Berns or myself, or just wants to share, a similar story and feels they have something that, they want to get off their chest and share, by all means, you are welcome to do so as well. It'd be a pleasure to have you part of this conversation, because I feel like it needs to be a community conversation, where we're all learning and teaching at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I often like there's I think I even said this with you yesterday, but like I am a student first and foremost, and then I am a teacher. And sometimes I'm a teacher, and sometimes I'm a student, and sometimes I'm just a couch potato on the couch eating potato chips. They don't make potato chips down here like they do in Canada, so thank God for that. I'm kidding. All the food down here is good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Starry Eye, she has a question and she can do audio. So
Okay.
we invite her. I went to school with her. She is also in the same soul group as us, Berns.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
I will invite her into a slot. There we go.
Starry Eye. Hi, Starry Eye.
Hi.
I love
your
name.
We can hear
Thank
you.
you. Hi, Andre. How you been?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
It's good seeing you again.
Likewise.
Crossing paths. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask a question. What do you plan to do with the rest of the time you have left?
whatever the hell I feel like doing in that moment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling more into the process, a little bit more meditation than I've been doing. Spending a lot of quality time with Dali and Kaya and with my friends who are local here, sharing what I'm going through, continuing to share what I go through on on the Facebook side of things. Like I said, I don't know, I'll take a poll, but I usually don't ever post on TikTok, and I should. But oh my God, there's so many places, right? So, but you can definitely know that you can find me on Facebook, which is the same name as I am here, Berns Bedard. My profile is open, so you can always check in and see what's going on. And that is where we will have any updates for you on when and if things change and how I'm doing. In the event that I can't post that, then Dali will make that post for me.
Are you afraid?
This is a really good question. You know, Molly taught us a really good thing, and then I'm going to answer your question. Molly, our bereavement doula, taught us that when someone asks you, she was talking about when her sister passed from cancer, or no, sorry, her son.
Yeah.
Molly said that at any given time of the day, she could be feeling differently about a topic, but she encouraged people to say, how are you doing right now? Because right now, I feel like I could live 30 more years right now. In 5 minutes, when I get up and I go up to my room, that's up a flight of stairs, I could be feeling like this tumor has created a catastrophic situation in my body, which it has.
Yeah.
Do I feel fear right now? No. Do I feel fear about death and the death process and what happens on the other side? Hell no. I know where I'm going. I'm going to infinite divine love and pure bliss. There's nothing to be afraid of about that. Where my heart really is, and is the letting go process of my closest ones to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fear so much as
maybe they might need you.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Sadness more than fear. I don't really feel afraid of dying. But of course, I haven't died yet. I mean, hospice nurse Jackie. If you can type that in the comments, or Andre, hospice nurse Jackie. She is, her hospice nurse Jackie. She's amazing. I've learned so much about what the end of life looks like. But again, it's with people who are 80 years old. They're already looking very fragile, and I just pray to God that I look and be vibrant right up until the end. So
I've had that experience, by the way, and it's literally like waking from a dream. There's nothing to be afraid of. You just have no body.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah. Because what I did was, like, I really wanted to know, like, what happens when you die. I wanted that experience. I went to sleep, and Spirit showed me exactly that. I was like 1,000 atoms, like 1,000,000 atoms in the air, and it was just all love, and there was just nothing. It's like what we fear is basically our family members going without us. I guess that's what it is, and not doing enough in this lifetime. That's what I think.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Hang on, I gotta write that down so I don't forget. Okay, I'm gonna address that because that's a really good topic. Not doing enough when we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my perspective, and this is what I truly rest in every day. We can get so caught up as human doings instead of human beings.
Yes.
Our mission was never to come here and struggle. Our mission was to come here and learn and grow. And yes, there'll be a couple struggles along the way, but our primary default is, especially right after we're born, is very at the same level. And do you ever see a brand new baby? Do you ever smell a brand new baby? It's like heavenly, really, when you think about it, right, Andre?
Yeah.
Andre just transitioned to his family.
I smelt 4.
Yeah. So we oftentimes are plagued with not doing enough. I got to do more. 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 I got to
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
do, 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 do. We're not human doings. We're human beings. We have to learn
Just
more
do.
to be in the present moment.
Hmm.
Being aware that I'm going to be transitioning soon really helps to put me in the present moment, because it's
Good.
like, if it doesn't serve me, no, thank you. Not
Hmm.
interested at all. Um, I think if you were to look back on your life, you would see that you can either say I haven't done enough, or you can say I realize I could do a little bit more, and let me see what areas can I do a little bit more to help one person at a time. When I was a bikini designer, it was always about one bikini at a time.
Hmm.
It didn't matter that I didn't get
A
that
billion people.
bikini order from
Yeah.
that pro who's on that stage right now. I knew
Yeah.
my work, and I worked up and I worked up and I worked up until I was basically showing the industry how the best bikinis should fit on the best bodies. It was an exhilarating experience. But in within that, every single girl, I made her feel like she was the only one on my roster. I need to take a sip of water. My pain meds really give me
Oh, I can imagine.
really bad cotton mouth, and I had taken one just before, just as we were starting, or
I
before.
like that question you asked, Starry Eye.
Yeah.
What do you plan to do with the rest of your time? And I think it's a question that each of us should ask on a daily basis. What do I plan to do with the rest of my day? What do I plan to do with the rest of my week, my month?
Well,
Because
personally, if I was like where she is, I would just go on a big holiday. I'll eat everything and then just go on a big long holiday until my time is out, and I say, "Peace out, people. I'm
So,
gone."
yeah,
fuckers.
Yeah.
I am on vacation.
Good.
We decided to move to Mexico
Nice.
2 years ago,
Hmm.
and we have been experiencing so much joy and so much incredible just enjoyment for this country. We feel like we've been on a holiday.
Good.
So that one's checked off for sure. Some people say, "Oh, where would you go
Yeah.
if you had all the money in the world?" And they show
Yeah.
my last house before here
Mhm.
looked like that very shot that they were talking about. I used to live on the beach, and now we decided that we need a smaller home, which has turned out to be the best decision ever. The beach house was amazing for a year and a half. This house, amazing. We just love it here. Um,
What is
where
your
you
diet
live.
like? Do you eat anything you want, or just
what's that?
what's your diet like? Do you eat whatever you want, or
Um, you know, I try to keep it very high fruit.
okay?
Um, and let's just say that that's the core stuff that I know my body feels best in. I have
Okay.
certain issues. I used to obviously teach a raw vegan lifestyle. We did that for a year and a
Mhm.
half, I think, and it was amazing. I led several juice cleanses doing that.
Yeah.
And I've just met the most incredible people that I really do consider family from that. But in terms of what do I eat right now, for example, I made some roasted cherry tomatoes with a little bit of feta cheese, some garlic, a little bit of water, and some cashews to make like a
Mhm.
rosé cashew cream. And then I've got some organic pasta to stir that up with and make all nice and warm. And it's like such good comfort food.
Okay.
So I've been, it's not all about what we eat. It's not all about how did you meditate and how did you
Mhm.
get to do certain things? How did you
Mhm.
accomplish certain things? It's not about what exercise you do. It's not about what herbal stuff you do.
Yeah.
It's about number one, realizing that whatever you're going through might just be what you have to continue going through to the end. And that's
Oh,
actually how I started to pivot in my thinking around this whole topic, because I struggle with that too, girl. Am I
mhm.
doing enough? I feel guilty because I'm just relaxing right now. It's like, wait,
Mhm.
you don't have to do anything. You know that word should?
Mhm. It's
I
gone.
should have done this and I should
Yeah.
have done that. Well, stop shooting all over yourself. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I always say. And Kaya calls me out on it too. When I'm like, oh, I should, she's like, oh, Mom, you're shooting on yourself. What are you doing? Because really, we don't need to be shooting on ourselves at all, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's not about any one of those individual things. It's about doing all of them and doing all of them from a place of alignment as opposed to a place of grasping at straws, trying to find the thing that you can find that will not make you die. A lot of people are really concerned about not dying. And once you give up that struggle, oh my gosh, that was the other thing I had written down here, I think, somewhere on this. But yeah, when you let go of the struggle of it's got to be exactly this way or else I'm going to die, or you're dying from this because you didn't try my blah 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 technique.
Do
No.
you? It's because you're like, let's say you have 3 months left. Do you continue on the diet that you know it's good for you to help maintain it, or could you just go all out because you've got 3 months left? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to be straight up with you. I do whatever I want.
Good.
I do whatever I want, and I have learned to eat whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I don't feel completely destroyed by eating that thing, and sometimes I do, and I will be like, oh my God, I feel like death right now, then I usually don't eat it again. And this is the thing, starry-eyed. I love your name. Anyway, I'll say it again. Starry-eyed. Starry-eyed. I love that.
Thank you.
I would worry a lot less about what I ate at this stage, and I would
That's what I thought. So
replace that with what do I desire right now? We bought cinnamon rolls at Costco the other day. Do we ever buy baked stuff at Costco? No. Did I buy one because I friggin' wanted one? Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking with me.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. I loved interacting with you. Great questions. I hope did I answer them enough? Do you have?
Yes. I just was curious, like if someone's just leaving, what do they do? You know, I wanted to speak to someone.
I think a lot of people do whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
I think
so
a
too.
lot of people, especially, I think we are new to each other, perhaps because I don't recognize your name. But I think one thing, especially about the healing community of which I belong, is that everybody's really ready to point a finger at people about any number of things. Being able to let that go and to realize that, hey, I don't have to justify nothing to nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to think a certain thing and it's that thing that you're thinking about, have at it. I hope it makes you happy. Right? Because a lot of people don't shit all over yourself, could be offended by what I at times eat. I don't really care. This tumor was here for a purpose.
Yeah.
Remember, I heard that from my inner being. It came to me for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And it and I have served that purpose very well. That's another reason why I know that I am doing enough. And when I'm just doing nothing, I'm still doing enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. Sorry to interrupt. Over the years, I've actually had several clients with cancer at various stages, and I've always said to them intuitively that, your cancer is here for one of two reasons: either to teach you something or to get you to do something that you were supposed to do and you haven't been doing. So now is the opportunity to take action, to do it, to learn, or to do something, And if it's the case where it's here to teach you, just to teach you, as long as you learn your lesson, then it's gonna, you're gonna survive. But if you're here to do something, when you do that thing, your mission is complete. There's no need to stay on this level. And, you're gonna wake up on a higher level and realize that what you thought was real life was just the beginning. It's just the training ground.
So
You know,
beautiful, Andre. So beautiful.
you're welcome, and you're beautiful too. We all are beautiful
You
in our different
are.
ways. You know. Um,
Beautiful.
Judy, we also have Judy here who requested to join, and I didn't see the
Yes,
request, Judy. I'm not
Judy.
sure if you're still there, Judy. If you wanted
Are you still
to
here, Judy? I bet you she is.
add
She
to
knows how the
the
streams will go.
there we
Yes,
go,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
perfectly
Judy, we can hear
beautiful.
you.
Hey, Bernsey.
How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm having a tough time with you and me because this death thing, and there's two parts to this. We've got history. We've got almost 20 years of history. And even though I haven't seen you since you moved away, we used to have so much fun living life.
Manifesting games. Remember that vision board that I made?
We went to the drugstore for you to get cologne because you were manifesting a man, and I got cologne. I was going to manifest a man, and you beat me to it. You got Dolly within weeks after we manifested together.
Yeah.
So we've got such beautiful history. And I've always known you've dealt with your cancer, and I've known that you are teaching, you're an incredible teacher, and you were doing everything you could to remove the cancer, to keep living a vibrant life. And with this sentence that you've had on you, it's like I had a hard time with it
Yeah.
because I don't want you to go.
Where did you go?
Oh, I think her connection may have dropped off.
Oh, our connection may have dropped off. Okay, we'll see if she comes back. I'll just talk.
Oh, there we go.
There you
She's
are. You're
back.
back.
I'm back. I had a hard time with it because I don't want you to go.
Right.
Because I had messaged you about 6 months ago about Natalie and I thinking of moving to Mexico.
Right.
And I've always had a hard time with death because I want to live.
Right.
So I have to say that you have enlightened me so much, Bernsey, that I am like 100% okay with it
Oh,
compared to maybe 60% that I used to be.
oh, I'm so happy for you.
So your mission is being accomplished, girl. Your
I
mission
feel
is
you.
being accomplished.
I feel that through you. You have taught me so much. We've taught each other so much,
We did. We did.
right? And
Yeah.
you know how you can access me. You know how
Yes.
all you have to do is to get into that state of the divine bliss. And when you're thinking about me and either intentionally wanting to manifest me or not, I will be right there. Imagine all the fun we're going to have when I'm on the other side. Judy,
Oh my God. Yes.
it's going to be a time. We are going to whip it up. Energy is non-local. We know this.
We do. I mean, we practiced it. We started to manifest and practice it.
And it works. So
Right.
imagine the fun we get to have.
Well, you see, and this is why I wanted to come on and say this to you, because I wanted you to realize that you are touching thousands and thousands of people right now. But for me, I felt so bad and was so upset that you were going to decide to leave, because it was like, fuck, Berns, you know better than this, right? We used to practice this. We would manifest shit. What the hell? What's wrong with you? Why are you like this? Why you manifested Dolly. A week after we did that, we would drive around in the country, Berns, and we would go into private properties and we would say, that's going to be my house, only I'm painting it blue. And,
Right.
we would go into gated communities.
Yeah.
So what you taught me was to let go of what I want and to listen to what you need and what you wanted.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. You're the one that pulled me out of the depths of, I want to end my life now because I am struggling big time, real hard. This was in 2011 to 2012.
Yep.
And I reached out to you because I said, I need help. I was starting to become an alcoholic. This is like just a year or two after the original surgery. And I said, I need help. I am in a dark place and I don't know what to do. And you referred me to Bashar at the time, actually,
Yeah.
which I thought he was totally cuckoo crazy. And I was like, I can't listen to that right now. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. And
Yeah.
then I rediscovered Abraham Hicks because of you. So
Yeah.
thank you. And everybody should say a big, huge thank you to Judy for pulling me out of what was a dark, dark time.
It was. And yet I was still in a dark place myself because
Oh,
my
yeah.
marriage had ended so traumatically, right?
Mhm.
So much trauma, yet you and I were so connected. And I couldn't help you personally, but what I did, because I was a coach then as well, I've always been a coach and a teacher too. I
Mhm.
had to give you the basics, the very basics of stuff that would jolt you.
Yeah.
And that's what you needed, right? You needed a
Yeah.
jolt.
I needed a gentle kick in the butt
Yeah,
is
don't
what
we
I
all?
needed, and you were the perfect person. You helped me out. And not just with that, with all of the women living well, community incentives that you did, and the dinner, the luncheons that you held so that women in our town could feel a sense of success and networking so that we're all not networking as the way we know it now,
Yeah.
but women getting together to just enjoy each other. It was really.
Validation, right? It was
Mhm.
validation as women and connection was why I started Women Living Well and why you got pulled into my community and then you and I became a community unto itself. We had
Yeah,
some great adventures together.
we had an
So
awesome.
again, thank you for
You're
helping me arrive to a place that I'm okay with death. I'm
welcome.
still not okay that I can't come to Mexico and see you, but that's just me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's okay. I can see you on the other side.
And we will have greater adventures on the other side because you will have access to me anywhere, anytime. Energy is non-local. So
Yeah, we
thank you
know
so
that.
much for coming in, for sharing that, Judy. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you too, and I love you, and I love you. And as I said so many times in your post, just peace, Burns, peace,
Absolutely.
peace.
And I am at peace, which is good to know, right?
I know I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. I love you.
I love you. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah. Bye.
For those who have just joined, Burns has been on a 12-year journey with cancer and has recently found out that she is terminal, with 3 months or so left. We've been talking extensively for the last hour about Burns's journey, her experiences, and her teachings throughout this whole journey. And some of you may have missed when I said, like, I truly believe that when you get cancer or any kind of life-threatening disease, it's there for one of two reasons: either to teach you something or to get you to do something that you were supposed to do. We're all here for a reason, beyond just living our day-to-day lives. We're all here to contribute something to the collective. And since Burns has been given this diagnosis, I really feel like the light of her life is shining brighter now more than ever. Now more than ever. That's what I really feel. And also, we've got a GoFundMe running for Burns and her family to help them through this transition. This is a difficult time for them, as you can imagine, if it happened to your family. So you can access that GoFundMe through the link in my bio. You can also follow Burns on her TikTok. She's more live and more prominent on Facebook. But I asked her to come and do this live with us today, just because I feel like the whole topic of death, passing is very sensitive and it's not really spoken about. And I feel like one of Burns's missions here is to shine light on that topic and tell us, look, it's okay to talk about this stuff. It's okay to feel our emotions related to this topic. And now more than ever, we're seeing more people with cancer. We're seeing more people get all kinds of, ailments, especially over the last 2 years with COVID and everything related to that. So if anyone on this live would like to ask any questions to Berns about how she feels about passing and things like that, or ask any questions to me, you can do so in the chat, or you can come on to the live. You can talk. You don't have to have your camera on. By all means, join us. It's a pleasure to have you guys with us for this last hour. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Berns, over to you.
You want to throw it to me?
Yeah. I just passed it over to you. I got tired of hearing my own voice.
I'll take the mic.
Yeah.
Let's see. So preparing for life, I just want to touch on that again, because preparing for life for end of life care is one of those things that is hard to believe and hard to wrap your brain around it when it does come down. I see that Misha says, for me, I've never had a fear of death. I've known from a young age that it is okay. That is so great. Yeah. As a youngster as well, I was thinking about this earlier. From one of my first memories that I can recall, I've always believed that in reincarnation, which would get my dad so riled up. He hated any, Roman Catholic was going to be a priest until my mom showed up on the scene, and then he went, maybe I'm not going to be a priest. So I forget what I was saying.
Sorry for confusion. You're moving around.
You're moving around. It's all good. It's time to go.
Yeah.
It's time to go. Kaya is getting ready for a video shoot today. She looks so amazing.
Oh, how beautiful. How wonderful.
Yeah.
Incense.
Well, if you need to go, guys, that's no problem.
Suitcase upstairs. Oh no, it's in that box right there.
Desiree says reincarnation. Yes, Desiree. I am someone who is a strong believer in reincarnation, and I think you are too, Berns.
Oh yeah, I've known. That's what I was going to say. From my earliest thoughts on this, I have believed in reincarnation, and I don't know if that's something that I picked up in that time when I was in the hospital having an emergency appendectomy, or if I do sense that I am sort of given the feeling that is when that had first showed up for me. And it's not something that I went out seeking. I didn't read a book on it. I just kind of knew, I'm in my next life or in my past life, I would say. And my dad just did not like hearing about that. And that is something that I have believed my whole life. It may be true. It may not be true. The bottom line is we're dealing in right now at the top of the pyramid, so to speak, our life as it has manifested in front of us, right? We can really harness any situation. Like I am known for turning around a conversation, switching the perspective on any topic so that, I can get more benefit out of it. So instead of being afraid of something, is there anything that I can tell myself to prepare me in a better frame of mind? Can I look at that? Can I say that better? Yeah. No, can I say it better now? And just going over it. Now, how can you say that better? I'm backspace. I want to take another run at that. And the same can be true of anyone who doesn't believe in reincarnation. That is totally okay as well. The bottom line is we're all going to be leaving this bodily experience, right? And how to do that in a way that does not totally suck, basically. To be able to live your life at the end of your life, throwing around some really funny, dark jokes that just come up out of nowhere on the subject of death and dying. I'll give you one. There's this book that Dali had read, Stop Smoking Cigarettes. And it's called, some of you might know it. If not, you should get it if you are somebody you know needs or wants to stop smoking. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking. And then I saw that he has another one called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Drinking Alcohol. And then I said, he needs to write one that says the easy way to die. But then again, that's like, I'm not in your own God-given time. I'm not talking about going out and killing yourself. Please, that's not what we got going on over here. We are lovers of life, but when it is time to transition, what can we have as tools to help us along the way so that we are not totally afraid? I know there's one of our Facebook members who said in a private group thread, she said, I'm terrified of death. I'm terrified of dying. I think about death all the time. What's going to happen with my children when they die? What's going to happen with and it's just like, oh my goodness, that's a really good example of somebody who is already dead. If you're walking around constantly with fear of death in your head, like constantly, so much that it plagues her on a certain level, it's like energy that is stuck, right? The only way that we can get our energy flowing is by thinking thoughts that are more in alignment with how you want to feel. And that can be on any subject at any time. Definitely.
There's this poet that I really like called Rumi, and he's got this this line on death. I can't quite remember exactly how it goes, so I'm going to put my own spin on it, but it goes something along the lines of death isn't the end. What you think is your grief, when you die, you'll wake up laughing. It goes something like that, about passing away is just like waking up. And you'll laugh at yourself and say, "Oh my God, I thought that was, that was it."
And here I thought this life was everything.
Right. And then you essentially, and I believe this. I think that when we pass over, we wake up to more life. And those who aren't familiar with me, I do quite a lot of mediumship work. It's not something I promote. I do it on the side. So I've got a lot of insights from other people, and the clients who come to me for that kind of stuff, it's normally when a loved one has passed, and I don't know these people. I don't even see their faces, nothing. So when we do some work together and I tell them things, they're like, that's exactly how he would say it. So that for me is validation. Like, okay, it's not just my my overactive imagination filling in a few blanks, but it's actually I'm onto something.
Yeah.
And we ask a lot of questions. What's it like? What do you see? What do you do? And from my own experiences and insights, it seems like it's very similar to where we are now, just with more freedom. More freedom. You can come and go anywhere you please. You can be here, you can be there, you can be anywhere in the world in the blink of an eye. It's like a fairy tale in some respects.
Yeah, it really is. I think we put a lot of importance on the physical three-dimensional realm where we are awake, because that is just what we've been conditioned to learn. Excuse me. That's what we've been conditioned to learn with this whole life thing. But in reality, we are so much more than this, like I said, this meat suit, this physical thing. Yeah. It is. It should be interesting. I can't wait. Aside from the fact that I don't want to leave my beautiful husband and my daughter and my sisters and my friends. On the other hand, it's coming. Like, get your head out of the sand. You can only do that for so long before you really do have to face your reality with your transitioning. And I think for myself, and I'll just maybe think we could end it or wrap it up at this point, but I have really found that doing everything the way that we have been guided to do it has really, really softened us on a really deep level, our family. It's brought us closer together. We are less irritable with each other at times. We're more concerned and connected to each other, all of us. And that is a really big blessing that I get to see as a natural unfolding of this thing called having a death crisis or having a death experience. Not a near death, like we're going all the way this time. So I just think that if that can be, like Judy said, if I can in any way help anybody feel that this does not have to be scary, this helps you soften and open up to another perspective. This does not mean that Berns is giving up. Let me tell you, it takes a lot more strength to hold on when you should be giving up, letting go of something, right? Sometimes we don't want to let go and we're too attached to all this stuff. But if we can soften that a little bit and just continue to be open with it, and even possibly checking out the services of your nearby providers beforehand, that calling the funeral home and finding out what was the procedure here in Mexico. And we are in a small, somewhat an hour and a half away from the city where I will be cremated. This has helped ease so much tension in myself. So look at the resources that are around you. Find out if you can find somebody who you have a connection with who does the grief and bereavement coaching or doula type work. Have the open discussions with your family. Let each other feel their emotions. Give them time to feel that emotion. It's so uncomfortable a lot of times to feel emotions of sadness, but they do pass. They do pass. You are able to get into a place and a space where you have how are you feeling right now? It's very different to how are you feeling? Well, overall, I'm not feeling bad, but I am feeling a little bit sad about leaving my loved ones. But overall, I actually feel good. I feel very blessed that we've had this opportunity to connect and to have the time to pre-grieve my passing while I'm still here. I'm pretty sure that is something that is not commonly done. I've never seen it done anywhere. So also to that end, if anybody wants more information, you can check out my Facebook page and see where Molly has been tagged. I actually filmed the opening segment of the grief ceremony that I went with my two sisters, my two daughters, Dali, myself, Dawn, and Phyllis were also. Phyllis lives in Mexico, so she was here, and Dawn was on a video call. And it was with us in the ceremony. It was absolutely one of the most healing opportunities for us. You can heal from a lot of these things in a lot of different ways so that you don't feel crushed when the time comes, right? Because nobody knows when that time is going to come for us. So yeah. And thank you so much, Andre, for reaching out and for having a beautiful call yesterday with you, and for today, and for whatever ways that we can collaborate more to help more people, feel
100%.
good about.
For those who have missed most of it, I'm going to be uploading it to the full live to YouTube, so that's just easier because you can upload the whole thing.
Perfect.
I'll tag you in it so that you can download it and share it on your networks. Guys, what I wanted to ask is your Facebook linked to your TikTok? Because it will be easier for people to connect or reach you there. So
I think so, but let me write that down as something to check.
Just check that out, because then we're connecting with Berns on her Facebook. That's where she has built up quite a big community, and she does a lot of her stuff there on Facebook. She's not really a TikToker like I am. So if you can connect with her in there, and she's just got a wealth of knowledge, not just on this topic, on lots of different topics too. I think her Facebook could serve as her biography for her life. There's just so much there. There really is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. My Facebook is an extension of the work that I do, and it's beautifully, it's just, I usually don't post a lot of memes and stuff like that. I really do post from my heart, but from a very focused part. So it's usually posts that have to do with me personally, or what other people are going through, and the general work that I'm in at that moment, because there's different phases that I've been coaching for free on Facebook with up to 8 hours a day when I was doing the Real Juicy Detox work. I was doing lives on Facebook as well as YouTube simultaneously. And I do have a YouTube channel. It is The Real Juicy Detox. You'll find me there on YouTube. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for everyone who joined us and who came through. And a lot of you stayed till the end. It's been about an hour and a half now, I think we've been going on, or maybe even longer, an hour, nearly 2 hours. So Berns, again, your energy is incredible for you to be here with us, given your current condition, and just be so vibrant, energetic, and able to do most of the talking as well is a credit to, the level that you're operating at spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Thank you. Yeah, I just open up the portal and let the divine do its work through me. I also, like I said, I will go from this to straight up no communication at all. I communicate, I spend time with the community as and when I am instructed that this is a good time to do that. And this is a perfect time because I get to go for the drive to Sayulita with these guys. They're just getting ready to go now. So thank you so much, everybody. I love this tonight. Thank you, Andre, for making this such a beautiful experience.
You're welcome.
And for being here as part of my journey as I walk this beautiful walk.
I will treasure these moments for the rest of my life, and I will watch it back myself. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this as well, because this is your life, this is your time, and it's so precious and sacred. When you're on a limit. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Much love for you, Berns. Take care. God bless you, darling.
Mwah. Love you.
All right, guys, let's go back to the normal view. So that was Berns, guys. She is just a beautiful soul.